Hello everyone, my name is Poorya Durali. I am here with Aishwari Soni and Manvindra Singh, and today we're going to be discussing our Bentop Hospital project. This was a project that was done for our simulations course in correspondence with the Harris Health Systems Center of Innovation for the semester of spring 2019. Now, it is important to note that for this presentation, this is part one of two, where part two will come later on, and that's going to be a model that is developed in Simio that is going to have a little bit more elements to it that will be presented to the Harris Health people, along with a little bit more robust recommendations. As a brief overview of the presentation we're going to go over today, we're first going to talk about the background, then we're going to address the big picture question, some system descriptions, model construction, recommendations, results and discussions, and then we're going to finally wrap it up with conclusions and next steps. A little bit of background. We are working with the Harris Health System. This is one of the largest county hospital systems in the country and is part of the Harris County safety net that provides assistance to insured and uninsured people, and includes a wide variety of different benefits to the community, such as 18 community health centers, 5 school-based clinics, mobile health units, as well as 2 full-service hospitals. One of which is the hospital that we're working with, which is Bentop Hospital. Now, this was originally opened in May of 1963, but was restructured and reopened in 1990. It is the only level 1 trauma center in the Harris Health System, which means that they can take care of very serious health emergencies, and they also care for more than 80,000 insured and non-insured patients each year. Now let's address the big picture question today. We are working with Harris Health Center of Innovation to answer the following problem. Given a simulation approach, what are some recommendations that can be given to Bentop Hospital's EC that can reduce the total overall time a patient stays in the waiting area? And now I will pass off the presentation to Aishwari.
Thank you, Poorya. I'll be starting with the system description. So we have considered 2 patient entries, both for the psych patients as well as the non-psych patients. The patients can exit from any of the core areas or one south area. The one south area is particularly for the psych patients. The patient will be separated on the basis of the acuity level, that is how severe are the patients that are incoming in the facility. We have divided those acuity levels into 5 data points, like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, so on. Also, the patients can be transferred from the core areas to the south psych areas as wherever the bed is available, or basically the patients come with medication conditions as well as the psych conditions. So as soon as the medical condition clears off or is treated well, they are transferred to the south psych area. Or the another condition that follows is, if they are pure psych patients, they have no medication conditions, they are directly sent to the south psych area. The assumptions that we have taken into account are that there are just 2 gates for entries. There's only 1 exit for the model. Everyone exits to the same point. The resources do not have any break times. Also, there are no breakdowns for the machines and stuff throughout the whole simulation run. The staffing at the hospital is not taken into the FlexSim model. It will be taken into account for the Simio model that's going to be prepared by Mr. Poorya. All categories of modes of arrival other than the ambulance and the police are assumed to be coming from the front gate. Also, for the purpose of this model, staffing conditions are not considered. While a patient can come from many different tests or treatment done in the hospital, the approximate length of stay for each patient is modeled as a standardized time for each location within the emergency center. Also, patients who are arriving from the EMS or police escort will be typically more serious than the other regular patients. The challenges encountered by us will be that no 2 patients are same. Each patient requires different resources. Due to variability of patients, the protocol used to treat each patient was greatly varying, even with similar acuity level of patients. No patients can be reduced to service as long as the hospital runs on. limited budget due to Bentop Hospital being a county hospital. So we cannot add as many as resources that we want. There's also a facility area constraint with the model involved. So for the modeling, this is the first part of the model. So we are using FlexSim. We will be running the model for 2 weeks, and we have provided a warm-up time for 2 days to replicate it to original lifetime scenarios. The tools used in this model are basically FlexSim, that is the simulation software, and also the expert fit that comes with the simulation package that is used for calculating inter-arrival times and service times. The input data that we have provided in the model are arrival times for all patients at the entrances, service times for the patient at various points at the emergency center, such as check-in, triage, registration, MSC, and stay in code ABC, E, and 1 South. Different modes of exits of patients from ECs are all our input data points, whereas for the outputs we are providing the project with total duration a patient stays in the waiting area, also the total number of patients that are waiting in the area. So from now, my friend Manvendra will continue to the further for the presentation.
Thank you, Ashway. So I'll be going with the recommendations. The the recommendations we have provided, like we have recommended three recommendations. First is to add additional bed to emergency center. So the patient arrives to like south side, and the south side has a capacity of 16 beds, but only 12 and they block it at 12 because of lack of staffs and everything. So we will add four more beds to the south side and one more bed to core AB. And the second recommendation is, so because of the when the patient has to move from south side, they need a EDO, emergency detention orders. So for that, there should be a constable available, and that constable takes the patient to the psychiatrist facility. But because of that, they have to call the constable. That takes a delay, and that includes the stay time in south side. So we want to provide a constable to south side, which will reduce that delay and will reduce the length of stay for psych patient in south side. And the third recommendation is, there are some percentage of patients, like 2% of patient out of psych patient, which comes to the facility just for the consultation or for medication refill. So they stays in the waiting area and they wait to get roomed in south side, which consume more many resources, and which incorporates longer length of stay for psych patients. So we want to include a psych small psych consultation desk near the MAC, where the patient can be consulted there via using video conference, and can then directly leave from the waiting area as their medication refilled or get the consultation. So so I want to show you the model we made. So this is the simulation model. So this is the entrance of non-psych and psych patient. So the color coding here is the red color patient are the non-psych patient, and the yellow color patient are the psych patients. So this is the initial screening, the check-in, and this is the waiting area. This is the registration. The patient comes from the goes to check-in. This is initial screening. Then the patient waits in the waiting area and then gets called for the triage. This is the triage desk. After that, the patient goes to the MAC, then the lab order, then the registration, and these two gates are for the ambulance, as told by my fellow mates, that the patient who are like bring by ambulance or car or by police, they come from this gate, and the triage desk for them are this one. And this is the core south psych area, where where only psych patient gets roomed. And this is the critical care, and this is the AB, core AB. This is core E, core C, core E. And this is the gate where the patient exists. And now it comes to our recommendation. So this is the recommendation. With this is the site counselor. When the patient comes here, only 2% of patient which comes for the medication refill or something, they will come here, get their medication and can exit from this gate, which will like reduce the length of stay for them. And the second recommendation is like adding a, this is a delay due to due to EDO. So this has like some processing time. So when the patient gets after the patient get treated from the bed has to go through this processor. This is delay due to EDO. So if we provide a constable here, this will get to the maximum content equal to 0, and the processor time will equal to 0, and this will reduce the delay due to EDO. And this is the final exit gate where all the patient will exit it. So from this model we can, so these are the recommendation. We run the optimizer from using the Flexim, and like adding an official, adding beds to south side, adding beds to core AB and everything. So all this, after optimizing all these variables, we got this result. This is the length of stay in waiting area. So in the original scenario, like before implementing a recommendation, it was 200 in 95% confidence 200 minutes, and after applying our recommendation, like adding beds to core AB and south side, the time reduced to 150. So the conclusion said that it's a reduction in number of patients waiting in waiting area. It also reduces the average time in the waiting area by significantly by 50 minutes per patient. So our next steps will be as explained by Mr. Poria and Ashwarya, that the next model will be developed in Simio, where some limitation like implementation of staff and everything will be there in that model, and there are some finding lab will be that will be presented in the Harris Health and Bento Hospital with Simio model. And thank you for your support, and thank you.